traders, welcome back to some more analysis. Let's talk the crypto world because my last video came as a bit of a shocker actually to me when I was making it. And it relied heavily on this analysis of previous price action, previous algorithms that we saw, namely this guy. Now, why did I come here in the first place? Because if you look at price action, just very vaguely and generically looking at it, it looks very similar to this previous move where we made all-time highs. We had a nice big dump down to find liquidity and tapped in nearly to our previous demand, and then came up and made all-time highs again, but very slightly made those all-time highs, and then found a larger liquidity build into what we had, where we had really large amounts of liquidity, right? So if we were to highlight these same factors that we saw back into 2021 to where we're at now, we would point out again the high all-time highs, the pullback into almost nearly into liquidity, right? To some liquidity, call it lower time frame liquidity in this little move, and then a deeper push into really where the liquidity and the demand was. So if we want to highlight where that demand is, in this case, right, it would be really here. That's being generous. We could say it's kind of in here. And this I've had highlighted for a long time, but we can say that this is really where the bulk of the liquidity lies, similar to where we had it here. And our push down initially was into really kind of like nearly tapping into a little bit of liquidity, right? The lower time frame liquidity. So we're just like tapping into where we had all-time highs, tapping in and going. Now, for a sustained move like we had from this one, right, where we made all-time highs to 67K, then we came all the way back to 16,000. For a sustained move up to the 100K that we made, we had to tap into this deeper demand. Similarly, the move now from 100K to say $200,000, I would believe that we would have to tap into some serious liquidity, right, for a long-term sustained push-up. So that was the initial theory. Then obviously you plug in the algorithm. Last time I had this as purple. You plug in this algorithm into where we're at now, and you see a nearly similar thing happening. And that's what made that last video so interesting. And where I shorted was on this high. If we go to a daily chart, seeing this beautifully respecting, I was able to get into shorts here at the 112,000 and safely get into them, knowing that, listen, if we respect purple, then it tells us a lot. Obviously, that's only on the buy side, so we want to see on the sell side as well, and that's what we're going to be taking a look at in the next few minutes. But what we want to see on this lower time frame as well as is this purple respecting, right? So we're going to want to see that we are being pulled away from whatever our buying is, right? Something stronger than this. We can make this green. But really, we have a stronger yellow buying. And we want to see that we're actually respecting a more tapered algorithm rather than these stronger buying algorithms. So just being very rough here, just to give you guys the picture and the painting. But ultimately, to see this larger move happen, this larger move down, right? Let's see what we saw on a higher time frame is for sure a respect on both sides, right? So we had strong buying happening. We had an all-time high. We came down and we broke out of whatever that strong buying was at that time, right? It was something like this. Some really strong yellow buying, broke out and came down to find a bottom, right? At this point, we didn't plug in purple. Then we came up from there, retested our strong buying and created this purple algorithm. Now from there, it's important to see where is price going to respect. Are we going to come down and then reignite strong buying green, yellow again? Or are we going to come out, dump out a yellow and respect our purple? And when we saw this purple respect here, that told us everything, right? We now see that price was respecting this very tapered, bearish liquidity building purple algorithm. And that's what allowed us to build a little bit more and dump, right? Come to where we needed to. So what we're going to need to see on our higher time frame, again, is this purple respecting. So when we come down from where we're at now, are we going to get caught on like we had? Let's bring this yellow over. Oh, there you go. Pretty similar. Are we going to come down and get caught on this yellow, right? Either here at the 98K range or maybe even on a more recent likely not this. Or if we dump out of yellow, are we going to find ourselves at purple and proving purple? If we do prove purple, we know what that means, right? This is going sideways, building liquidity upward in order to dump down and come to important territory downward. So if that happens, we can see a fairly good chance of us dumping out of our buying algorithms, our buying continuation, and coming down to this 60,000 level that we want to see, that price wants to see, that all of the market movement almost needs to see in order to see a more sustained push up. So that's why I'm extremely, I don't want to say extremely bearish, because again, I'm never super bearish on Bitcoin, on the cryptos, because you know, like we saw here, we tapped into the 74K level that I wanted to see, and then shot our way up, right? So I wanted to see more downside initially over here. We didn't get that, obviously, and made our way up to new all-time highs. But now they're at all-time highs, and we're seeing another break that is very near our previous all-time highs, right? And what that means is respecting a tapered algorithm. I'm expecting to see this tapered algorithm, or I want to see, is this proving us? Now, if we come down and we find yellow, right, and we hold yellow and see a strong reaction from yellow, we can definitely see ourselves breaking out of purple and proving yellow on the higher time frame, right, and making our way up all the way to wherever this takes us. Okay, but if we fall out of that yellow, we're in for some nice movement, at least down to the 76K level. And if we come to that 76K level and start building more upward liquidity, more bearish liquidity, we have a very good idea of where we're headed. So that's the Bitcoin chart. That's what I'm looking at. Right now, I'm safely in shorts. I'm going to be holding these shorts as long as we're respecting and below this purple. We can get more detailed as to the current algorithms that are being respected if we want to. But really, it's kind of a bigger picture. We can see on the sell side a more tapered selling here in yellow, which is not being respected. And what do we see is being respected? A stronger selling. Call this orange or red. Let's call it orange for now, which was being respected. Then we found some sort of support here. Could be, again, a tapered buying algorithm. Could be something like this. That's just trying to build us liquidity. All right, that would make a little bit of sense, and then see ourselves dump out of the tapered yellow, which is, again, not respecting. We can see that this tapered yellow is not respecting truly. Maybe we see a little bit lower. I don't know why this is yellow. This should be white. If you've seen my videos, you know this is a white, tapered white. So until we see this white respecting on the sell side as well, we're not really seeing a bullish liquidity build happening. Now, anything can happen on the short term. We can see ourselves push up and try and push past purple again, or prove purple again on the lower time frame. But ultimately, until we already have that, until we see a strong buying continuation, respect, and push us out of purple, I cannot go long on this. And on the short side, I'm really taking any opportunity I can get within these tapered buying continuations, these small liquidity builds. I'm taking every opportunity I can get to add to these shorts and play our way down. None of this is really convincing me that we're building a bullish liquidity because, again, of that higher time frame purple. And for me, higher time frame is everything. Now let's touch on the others quickly. We want to talk about Ripple. I don't really want to talk about Ripple because, and Ethereum too. But just to go through the algorithms, we see on a higher time frame, if we want to just kind of blank everything out a little bit and see this chart from a fresh point of view, we can see on the sell side, pretty tapered action, right? On the buy side, however, we see a stronger selling. Now we've had this selling algorithm that we actually broke out of with nice strong volume. We can call this the purple, and are now coming back to retest it, selling down against something like purple, maybe something even stronger like an orange. Now, if we plug in, this is an orange we've seen before. This is something that we know exists. This is an orange that we always sell down. It's a very strong selling. We sell down orange until we see a more tapered algorithm prove and break us out of orange. So in this case, it could be purple. But again, purple is still pretty strong to be able to sell us down. So ultimately, I'm not really touching anything here until, again, we could see maybe on this kind of lower time frame, this white, maybe we want to say an even more tapered teal. is respecting on this lower time frame. Right, we can see on these lows potentially, but really we haven't proven any sort of tapering on the buy side here. So I'm not convinced that we're ready from this point to break out. I do want to see ourselves continue selling down something stronger like we are, like these purples. Maybe we have something like this, but ultimately prove these white and these teals lower down. And that's where, again, where our bulk, there's not much liquidity down here, but where our bulk liquidity sits is in this 1.5, 1.4, 1.5 range. We tapped in. Again, this was another level we identified, and we went long here, but it was a short-term long for us because we do have deeper liquidity down below, and we're not seeing such strong signs of tapering or of bullish tapering. We are seeing, however, potentially signs of bearish tapering. Maybe we are seeing a tapered buying algorithm getting in the way. We know that we have this green algorithm that's constantly respecting as a sort of bearish algorithm. So we do want to keep an eye out for this, which we have just looks like broken out of. So we could see a nice big dump down here. But really on the bigger picture of Ripple, I do need to see some proof of tapering on the buy side and the sell side, which we haven't really seen yet. Now let's talk Ethereum really quickly. Again, just a simple chart. What do we see? Well, similar to Bitcoin. The only difference is here, like we respected a beautiful tapered algorithm on the sell side and on the buy side, right? This purple. We just didn't get as large of a relief run from Ethereum as we saw in Bitcoin. Obviously, Bitcoin saw new all-time highs. Ethereum not so much. So, as if we want to just take a look at, we're in a fairly strong selling right now, but not a proven selling. If we want to look at the sell side, because that's kind of what's proven. It's a pretty strong purple here. So this has been a bit of a pain for Ethereum here, this purple algorithm. You can see that last time we approached it, we had proven, right, we were selling down initially a strong selling purple, and then we started to taper on something like this green, and we are able to break out of purple with a nice amount of volume. This probably coincided with a nice bullish move on Bitcoin. However, here on the sell side, in this lower time frame, we're just seeing straight selling, right? Then we had that big Bitcoin relief. We came to a key point here. This was a point where, as you can tell, right, this is a key support point that we came to and then reacted off of. But again, is that enough? Is that enough? Now, I can see Ethereum, since we have tapped into a higher time frame liquidity, I could see this kind of going sideways for a little while Bitcoin does its thing and while the altcoins do its thing. Ultimately, obviously, I'm bullish here. And when we see this purple proven again on the buy side, that's when I will expect a really large breakout push. At that point, obviously, we'll have to be careful for a tapered algorithm. But ultimately, I can see the chopping around prior to the other leaders like Bitcoin making a true breakout, which it hasn't, because we saw that when Bitcoin had made its new all-time highs, Ethereum was still very much in the middle of the pack, hadn't even come close to its all-time highs. We can see what looks like potentially a beautiful double top here, also potentially a bit of a higher time frame taper, right? So again, I can just see ourselves playing in the range here. I'm not really seeing any clear algorithms that are going to prove breakout bullish or bearish here. So I'm going to be staying away from Ethereum for a while. But again, Bitcoin really see good opportunity here. On the downside, until again, we are proven by either this yellow strong buying or by a tapered algorithm, a more tapered sell side that we want to see. So that is the crypto update. I hope this was helpful, and I will come back to you guys with some more analysis in the coming minutes, hours, days, etc. Happy trading all.